Last week, Kensington Palace announced that William and Kate would not be attending the BAFTAs. Now, it is important to note that William is president of the BAFTAs, Britain's premier award ceremony for outstanding performances in film and television, comparable only to the Oscars. Now, the fact that its chief patron had other plans was a slap in the face to both the British film industry and the public. The BAFTAs were also meant to mark yet another big comeback for Kate, but alas, that too wasn't to be. Now, shortly after, we learned that William and Kate's decision to forego the event was due to, wait for it, another luxury vacation. This time, Mustique. Now, Mustique has been an exclusive secret hideaway since the days of Princess Margaret and, more recently, the Middletons. And folks, by now it should come as no surprise that Kate has an acute disinterest in what some of us might call work. This isn't new. Kate's dismal work ethic cast a long shadow long before her marriage into the royal family. Now, if you're a late observer of the peculiar lives of the British royals, you may find it difficult to imagine a time when Kate Middleton wasn't lavished with glowing praise by the press. But in order to understand the real Kate, we must strip away the revisionist history and take a trip back in time. Now, long before the carefully curated image by the British press, Kate was a fixture in London's wild party scene, a privileged socialite navigating the world of elite debauchery. She was often seen slipping in and out of exclusive clubs until the early hours, sometimes with William, but often on her own. There were repeated photographs of her emerging from these venues, hair in disarray and clearly inebriated. The repeated spectacle of her leaving these clubs, laughing, half-dazed, gave the public the impression of a carefree socialite, but in fact, Kate was known among aristocratic circles to be comfortable with a certain level of debauchery and was hardly timid about fraternizing with wealthy partygoers. Some parties she attended even had risque themes, complete with adult entertainment, flamboyant costumes, and after-hours indulgences. There was one particular event for a film with the dubious title Rabbit Fever, in which Kate wore bunny ears and reportedly worked the room. There was also mention of her association with Emma Sale, a friend and founder of a sex club called Killing Kittens, which catered to the ultra-wealthy seeking clandestine experiences. She would frequently coordinate with paparazzi, ensuring she was photographed at the right places while simultaneously complaining about media intrusion. Her revealing fashion choices, from short skirts to sheer dresses, seemed designed to keep public attention firmly on her. By the time Kate's relationship with Prince William became public knowledge, she had secured a place in London's most exclusive social circles. She never pursued a serious career, focusing instead her energy on positioning herself as a staple of William's world. She was a regular at high-end nightclubs. Kate was not a passive participant in the scene. She thrived in it, often seen flirting with bouncers, dancing wildly, and posing for the cameras. Kate's nights out were extensively documented by the paparazzi, leading many to suspect that she coordinated with photographers in order to remain in the headlines. William, for his part, was no stranger to the hard partying lifestyle and excessive drinking. He was often seen stumbling out of clubs, visibly intoxicated, sometimes supported by security officers. However, it was his brother who absorbed most of the negative headlines. Now, despite the sanitized version of the Kate we know today, there was a time when insiders of the firm began to blame Kate for encouraging his behavior rather than helping him mature. Unlike most royal girlfriends who maintained their independence, Kate never pursued a full-time career, leading tabloids to dub her Waity Katie, a woman whose primary ambition seemed to be waiting for a proposal. In the years leading up to their eventual engagement, William and Kate were repeatedly seen exiting clubs drunk, raising concerns within palace circles that Kate was fueling William's reckless tendencies. In their 2007 breakup, many royal insiders were reportedly relieved when William briefly ended things with Kate, hoping he would refocus on his military career rather than partying. But instead of retreating into privacy, Kate doubled down on the nightlife, ensuring she was photographed having the time of her life, likely in an attempt to make William jealous. Now, William, on the other hand, was always chasing some aristocratic woman who always seemed to be out of his reach, leading to rumors that Kate was not meeting the standard necessary for the wife of heir to the throne. But whether through rejection or something else, Kate was eventually able to pin him down long enough to secure a proposal. Now, Queen Elizabeth, preparing for the eventuality that the heir may have serious designs on Kate, began to question her career path, but more pointedly, her work ethic. Long before the royal wedding, Kate already had a reputation for being work-shy. While the rest of the world speculated that an engagement was on the horizon for William and Kate, the Queen believed an announcement should be postponed until Kate was settled in a career. By this time, she had been dating William for nearly a decade. Yet she had never held a serious job beyond a brief and unremarkable stint at Jigsaw, a London fashion retailer. As criticism mounted, Kate attempted to rebrand as a budding entrepreneur, positioning herself as an active figure in her parents' multi-million-dollar business Party Pieces. But there was a dark side to the Middletons' rags to riches story. Party Pieces wasn't as successful as they claimed, and Kate, whether at the insistence of Carol or independently, sought to forge an alliance with none other than Richard Branson, using as a cover a dubious close connection with Branson's daughter Holly. Now, Kate was able to secure multiple meetings with the business tycoon, seeking his advice on carving out a new career for herself. Soon, it was announced that Party Pieces would offer experience days, wherein customers would be allowed to book surfing lessons, football stadium tours, and recording sessions, all in collaboration with Virgin. But the alliance seemed to have been short-lived, and well, not much came of this grand plan, other than some very cozy images of her and Branson partying it up. Now, when William finally proposed in 2010, many believed the future of the monarchy was secure, with a seemingly stable and respectable Duchess-to-be. However, insiders remained skeptical, questioning whether Kate was truly prepared for royal life. After the wedding, Kate was reluctant to take on royal duties, leaving senior royals and courtiers frustrated. Marrying into an aging monarchy, Kate was expected to breathe new life into the moribund institution, taking on engagements in order to alleviate the burden from the more seasoned royals. But rather than immersing herself in charity work, she continued to eschew royal responsibilities, much to the annoyance of the Queen. Kate seemed to prefer spending time shopping, lunching at swanky restaurants, or vacationing in Mustique. The Queen began to take notice and did not hold back, earning her the nickname Duchess Doolittle. She allegedly at one point even snapped at the Queen, telling her to stop nagging when questioned about her lack of work and questionable attire. Her penchant for wearing high hemlines and revealing outfits, particularly during the Queen's Diamond Jubilee, caused quite a stir behind palace walls. Things didn't get much better when in 2012 she was caught in a nude photo scandal in France. Her frequent salon visits and shopping began to raise eyebrows among courtiers and senior royals. Reports began to emerge that Queen Elizabeth and Prince Charles were irritated by her expensive lifestyle and lack of royal duties. Courtiers worked hard to secure her patronages, but charities were hesitant due to her lack of initiative. She routinely ignored meetings and failed to develop a significant partnership with her patronages and alienated other members of the family, namely Beatrice and Eugenie. Now, folks, some of you may already know that there's no love lost between the Yorks and the Middletons. In a 2008 fashion show, Kate and Pippa once insisted that Beatrice and Eugenie relinquish their front row seats to the young ingenues. Beatrice and Eugenie refused. Now, since then, there has been a deepening rift between the in-laws. Now, the palace anticipated that she would step up her responsibilities for the 2012 Diamond Jubilee and Olympics. However, she continued her laid-back lifestyle, avoiding work unless accompanied by William, who himself was facing mounting scrutiny for his work-shy attitude. Seems like they were made for each other. Now, 4 years after the wedding, Kate still struggled to adjust to royal life, leading to frustration among palace courtiers. But while Kate was expected to provide stability and a strong home life, she chose instead to decamp to the Middleton manor. However, there was one person who was able to draw her away from her mother's bosom. Now, can you guess who that is? That's right, Prince Harry. Now, while William was away with the RAF, Kate began to spend an increasing amount of time engaging with Harry. Soon there were whispers that Kate was showing more interest in Harry than her own husband. Courtiers started tracking Kate's behavior as she frequently crossed the line during formal engagements, showing an overtly affectionate attitude towards Harry in public, with some interpreting her behavior as inappropriately flirtatious. William was visibly irritated. Kate frequently intruded into Harry's private spaces. She once allegedly walked into Harry's room where she unexpectedly found a friend resting in his bed. Harry was reportedly annoyed by Kate's frequent interruptions. She suspected of being too involved in his personal life and interfering with his romantic relationships, particularly his connections with Chelsea Davy and later Cressida Bonus. At one point, she attempted to set Harry up with her sister Pippa in what can only be assumed as an attempt to keep him within her sights. By now, the Queen and Prince Charles were reportedly exasperated with Kate's distractions. William was seen as being overprotective of Kate, making excuses for her lack of work. The British public began to question whether William and Kate were genuinely committed to their royal duties. Their frequent vacations, avoidance of traditional engagements, and preference for the Middletons over Windsor family members began to raise alarms. There were growing concerns that the Middletons were trying to position themselves as unofficial royals. It appeared that William had fallen under their spell, even buying the Middletons a $1 million home using his mother's inheritance and attempting to elevate the Middletons' status by involving them in royal functions. But the palace wasn't having any of it. In addition, the royal security budget did not officially cover non-royal members, yet the Middletons frequently received protection when Kate visited them, and she visited them a lot. Soon, the Middleton Manor began to incur substantial security costs. The public was already annoyed that taxpayer money was being used for the Middleton security, and their frequent vacations, avoidance of traditional engagements began to rankle senior royals. It became clear to the Queen and Charles that they were competing with another court, one that was being led by a shrewd and tenacious and calculating matriarch.